Welcome to the Water Resources Authority Customer Service Charter. Our vision is to be an exemplary regulator of water resources management and use, and our mission is to effectively regulate the management of water resources in partnership with stakeholders. We are committed to ensure equitable water resources allocation by providing quality services to our customers with courtesy, fairness, integrity, accountability, and professionalism. The following are the services rendered: customer requirements, fees, and timelines that are expected from both the customer and the authority. In the service of provision of general information and attendance to inquiries, to our customer is required to submit a written request or simply visit our WRA offices. The charges for this service are free. For in-person visits to our offices, you will be attended to within 15 minutes. The time frame for a thorough response to a written request is no more than 10 working days. We render various water quality tests at our laboratories. Under this category, the first service is physical chemical analysis. You are required to submit a sample of 2 liters of water in a clear plastic bottle. The charges stand at 5,000 Kenya shillings with a timeline of 7 working days. Individual service cost per parameter is also available. The rates are as prescribed under the Part C of the Water Resources Regulation 2021. The second is biological analysis. You need to obtain a sterilized bottle from our lab and use it to sample at least 100 milliliters of water. This service will cost you 3,500 Kenya shillings with a timeline of 3 working days. Third is partial effluent analysis. You are required to submit 5 liters of your effluent in a clean plastic. The charge is 5,000 Kenya shillings. Do note that the charges depend on the facility and individual parameters. The time frame is no more than 7 working days for a comprehensive result. In addition to our diverse range of analysis, we also offer data, investigation, laboratory analysis, and related services. To access these services, you are required to submit a written request for this service, clearly stating the specifics of your needs. The charges for this stand at 5,000 Kenya shillings. The timeline is 3 working days. For obtaining groundwater data, this includes detailed data on water stack level, water rest level, yield and depth, catering specifically to a maximum of 10 boreholes. You are required to submit a written application detailing your needs. The charges for this service are 5,000 Kenya shillings with a timeline of 3 working days. The service rendered to hydrometeorological data, be it daily, monthly, or annual. The customer is required to submit a written request with your specific needs. The service charge is 5,000 Kenya shillings with a timeline of 2 working days. As for climatic parameter services, this service requires a written request. The charges are 5,000 Kenya shillings, deliverable in 2 working days. For discharge services, just like our other services, you are required to submit your specific needs in writing. The charges are 5,000 Kenya shillings with a timeline of 3 days. For lake or reservoir level services, submit a written request. The charges stand at 5,000 Kenya shillings and you will receive a response in 3 days. To avail of the sediment load services, submit a written request outlining your specific requirements. The cost for this service is 1,000 Kenya shillings, deliverable in 7 days. For water apportionment services, A written request is required stating your specific needs. The charges are 5,000 Kenya shillings, fulfilled within a timeline of 7 days. At WRA, we also offer various water investigation services. They include groundwater, hydrogeological assessment, or surveys including borehole siting. If this is the service you're interested in, please submit a written request outlining the specifics of your requirements. There is a charge of 40,000 along with staff days based on our contracted consultancy day rate and AA rates for mileage. Lab analysis costs are also exclusive. The timeline for this service is 7 working days. For surface water hydrological assessment or surveys, we require a similar written request outlining your specific needs. The charges are set at 40,000 plus staff days as per our contracted consultancy day rate and AA rates for mileage, not inclusive of lab analysis cost. The timeline varies depending on the type. For water quality and pollution control, water quality assessment or surveys, you are required to submit a written request for this service too. The fees stand at 40,000 along with staff days depending on the contracted consultancy day rate and AA rates for mileage, exclusive of lab analysis cost. This process takes 90 working days. For surface water flow measurement service, a written request is to be submitted. The charges associated are 20,000 plus staff days based on our contracted consultancy day rates and AA rates for mileage. Expect to receive the results in 7 working days. WRA renders various thematic maps and report services that include blueprints. If this is the service you're interested in, submit a written request outlining your specific requirements. The charges are 2,000 and have a timeline of 5 working days. For colored prints, submit a written request outlining your specific requirements. The charges for these services are as follows. Per A1 copy, charges are 5,000. Per A0 copy, charges are 5,000. Per A4 copy, charges are 1,000. Per A3 copy, charges are 1,000. Digital maps are billed per theme at 20,000 Kenya shillings. As for reports, they are delivered per page at a cost of 50 Kenya shillings. For equipment hire, submit a written request. Note that charges will vary, as they align with the prevailing schedule of rates issued by WRA. To request a copy of the Register of Water Bodies per basin area, submit a written request. We will deliver this service at 5,000 Kenya shillings within 1 working day. For a copy of the Register of Authorization or Permits per 100 or part thereof, these services are provided at 5,000 Kenya shillings within a timeline of 3 working days. For registration of Water Resources Users Associations, WRA, by WRA, ensure to submit a duly filled Form WRA 018 as per the Water Resources Regulation 2021. This service is free and the timeline is 30 days. For a copy of the Register of ROAs per basin area, the charges stand at 5,000 with a timeline of 2 days. For recommendation by RUA for a water permit, submit a duly completed WRA 003 form. The service fees stand at 2,000 with a timeline of 5 days. For a certified copy of the Register of the RUAs per sub-basin, this service can be accessed at a cost of 1,000 within 2 days. A copy of the RUA development cycle can be accessed at a fee of 4,000 within a timeline of 5 days. The following are the various water permit applications offered by WRA. The service rendered is to apply for a verification and authorization to construct water-related works such as obstruction, storage, swamp drainage and effluent discharge works. The customer is required to fill the form WRA 001 with all required accompanying documents ready and settle their assessment fees. The charges vary depending on the class of permit. If you take Category A, you will be charged $2,000 and the timeline for authorization will be a maximum of 30 days. If you take Category B, you will be charged at $20,000 with a timeline of 60 days. The charge for Category C is $40,000 and the authorization takes a maximum of 150 days. Category D is $80,000 and it takes a maximum of 150 days for authorization. The next service rendered is the assessment of permit application. The customer is required to submit a duly filled completed application form WRA 001 and the charges depend on the class given. If you take Category A, you will be charged $2,000. If you take Category B, you will be charged $20,000. The charge for Category C is $40,000 and Category D is $80,000. The timeline for all four categories is within 14 working days. For the service of inspection and completed works, submit a completion certificate verifying compliance with the conditions of the authorization. The charges are as follows. Category A, $2,000. Category B is $20,000. Category C is $40,000 and Category D is $80,000. The timeline of all four categories is within 10 days. For the service of issuance of a water permit, requirements include submission of the works completion certificate, Form WRA 007 along with proof of compliance to the conditions of authorization, and a positive recommendation inspection report. The charges depend on the class of permit. Category A is $1,000, Category B is $25,000, Category C is $50,000, and Category D is $100,000. The timeline for all is within 7 working days. The service of assessment for renewal or verification of permit, submit a duly completed WRA 001 form. The charges depend on the class of permit, and they are Category A $1,000, Category B $45,000, Category C $90,000, and Category D $180,000. This service is rendered within 14 working days. For the service of the application for transfer of a water permit, the customer is required to submit a duly completed WRA 014 form. The charges are $4,000, deliverable within 30 working days. For the service of the application for authority to enter land for WRA activity, submit a duly completed WRA 017. The charges are $4,000, deliverable as per need. For the service of the application of search for a water permit, the customer is required to submit a duly completed WRA 020 form. The charge is $2,000, deliverable within 2 working days. For a supplementary permit, submit a duly completed WRA 021 form. The charge is $6,000, deliverable within 60 working days. For the service of the application of an easement, submit a duly completed WRA 002 form. The charge is $4,000 and the deliverable is immediate upon submission of a sworn affidavit. For an application for an extension of time for authorization, submit a duly filled completed form WRA 005. The charge is $4,000, deliverable immediately upon assessment. For the service of extension of time limit for authorization to contract works, submit a duly filled completed form WRA 006. The charge is $2,000. An application for a search for a water permit. Submit a duly filled completed form WRA 020. The charge is 2,000, deliverable within 7 working days. For reissue of or alteration to authorization permits and licenses, submit a request, and the charges are 4,000, deliverable within 14 working days. For a response to a complaint or report in regards to violation of reserve quantity or quality, submit a written request that incurs no charges. We will get back to you within 48 hours. For a response to complaints, submit a written request. This service is also free of charge, and we will respond within 5 working days. For the permitted water use charges, submit a duly completed WRA 015 form. The charges are as prescribed under Part B of the schedule, and it is deliverable immediately. If you ever encounter any challenges accessing our services or wish to give feedback, we encourage you to contact us. We are here to help you. You can reach out to us through the following contact details. Our address: the Chief Executive Officer, Water Resources Authority, P.O. Box 45250 00100 Nairobi. 9th floor, Wing B, NHIF Building, Upper Hill. Or reach us through our telephone 020-2732-291 or 2729-950. You may also email us on info@wra.go.ke. Our website is www.wra.go.ke. Do stay connected with us. Follow us on Twitter @WRA_Kenya. Like our Facebook page, Water Resources Authority, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, WRA Kenya. For urgent matters, reach us on our emergency hotline at 0700056472 for immediate assistance. At Water Resources Authority, we value your feedback and strive to continuously improve our services. Your satisfaction is our priority. Thank you for trusting us.